Mr. Wonderful Kevin O'Leary has an outside the box plan to pay off our country's staggering $34 trillion of debt. Take a listen to his idea and then stick around afterwards, and I'll let you know if it can actually work.
ANWR has been discussed. ANWR is one of the largest resources of oil in the world. Hasn't been touched yet. We have massive debt. We've got a lot of government printing money. You just detailed that. How do we stop that? Well, let's take a lesson from Norway or from Canada. What they did back in the 70s when they found similar oil, in Norway's case offshore, they said, let's put a royalty on every barrel and use it specifically to reduce the country's debt, and then build a giant endowment fund that assures the wealth and the ongoing wellness of people in Norway. They did that by putting law in place. The Canadians didn't. They squandered their wealth. They discovered the same amount of oil, almost down to the last 100,000 barrels, and they let the government just fritter it away over 30, 40, 50 years. Now, if we did the same thing in ANWR, and that policy is on the table, and we said the only use of that royalty off those barrels, the only use, as written by Congress, is to pay off national debt, it would take a huge chunk of the national debt away, and we would be the largest self-sufficient, energy-secure nation on Earth, supplying all the Asian coast from Alaska energy. This would be a great policy. Now, I don't know which president is going to put it in place, but it is a gift to the American people. That ANWR has not been touched yet. It could solve a massive amount of problems. And I would argue to you, whether you're a Democrat or whether you're a Republican or an independent, this is a good idea. Let's borrow it from Norway and do it their way, not the way the Canadians did it, and solve a massive amount of our debt problem. I bet you that sells as an idea. Which candidate wants to do it? I'd vote for that if I could.
Ball's in your court, Mr. Biden, Mr. Trump. There's an idea for you right there, free of charge, for Mr. Wonderful, Kevin O'Leary.
Okay, so Mr. Wonderful's plan is to vote for any presidential candidate who'd be willing to plumb the depths of the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge for oil and use the proceeds to pay off the national debt. So all this begs the question, could his plan actually work? Well, first, the question that needs to be answered is how many barrels could actually be extracted from the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge? The answer varies anywhere from 4 billion to 11 billion, but most experts have settled around a 10 billion barrel number. So with a barrel of oil going for about $75 these days, that would produce around $750 billion of revenue. And with the current national debt at $34 trillion and scheduled to climb $2 trillion per year for the next 10 years, this doesn't look like a serious solution. Furthermore, our country has over $200 trillion in unfunded obligations for Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. So if you take all the potential revenue from the sale of 100% of the oil in the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge, you wouldn't even cover 0.5% of our country's fiscal shortfall over the next 75 years. And while I think it's smart to rely on our own country's own resources from an energy independence perspective, this is not a very viable solution to solve our country's growing debt crisis. The main issue at play here is that politicians lack the political willpower to make tough decisions for fear of getting voted out of office. The truth is, to solve our national debt crisis, politicians will either have to dramatically raise taxes, dramatically reduce spending, including making drastic cuts to America's entitlement programs, or some combination of the two. And both of those options would alienate any politician's constituency. As of now, the current plan in Washington is to simply kick the can down the road. However, there comes a point in time beyond which politicians can no longer kick the can down the road. And that happens in about 2043. That's when our country hits a 200% debt to GDP ratio. And when that happens, according to a recent Penn Wharton study, no combination of raising taxes or reducing spending will arrest the financial collapse of our nation. And guess what? Every year that goes by where the federal government fails to either raise taxes or cut spending means the eventual fix will be that much more severe and that much more draconian. In fact, former Comptroller General of the federal government, David Walker, has said that as soon as 2030, tax rates could have to double to keep our country solvent. So what does all this mean for hardworking Americans who have saved well and played by the rules? Well, if you happen to have saved the lion's share of your retirement savings in tax-deferred vehicles like IRAs and 401ks, it means you're likely to keep much less of your retirement accounts than you thought. And that means you're likely to run out of money much sooner than you ever dreamed possible. So what's the solution? Well, first of all, let's not put any hope in harebrained schemes like selling our country's oil reserves to pay down the debt. It's just not practical. you can count on politicians continuing to dither and procrastinate until they'd be forced to raise taxes. Secondly, you should seriously consider doing a Roth conversion on your tax-deferred retirement savings. Take advantage of tax rates while they are historically low so that by the time tax rates do potentially double, you've done all the heavy lifting and can take those dollars out 100% tax-free. Make it your goal to be in the 0% tax bracket in retirement. Why? Because if tax rates double, as more and more experts are starting to predict, 2 times 0 is still 0. Okay, folks, in the next 10 years, I'm looking to put 1 million Americans on the road to the 0% tax bracket. If you would like some help implementing a balanced, comprehensive approach to tax-free retirement that shields you from the impact of higher taxes down the road, head on over to davidmcknight.com and click on the Connect with an Advisor button. I'm happy to refer you to an advisor in the Power Zero network that has been trained, vetted, and qualified personally by me. If you're a financial professional and want to learn how to become a certified Power Zero advisor, head over to powerzero.com and opt into my free video series. And if you have any comments or questions, feel free to drop them into the comment section below. I'll respond to every single one of them personally. And don't forget to click like, subscribe, and the bell so you never miss a video. This is David McKnight. I look forward to seeing you on the next video.